for the next search.
Well, wonderful. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here tonight for our Shabbat services. Tonight, we are welcoming many people into our congregation, welcoming many people just to bring in Shabbat, our Shabbat in the second week of the month of Nisan, of course, the Shabbat, where we are going to be beginning a holiday just tomorrow night, our holiday of Passover, welcoming a group of also coming from Wheaton College, and I'm going to invite up our Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Stephen Bob, also to give a special welcome for our guests.
I will send the virtual bima here from my home and say Shabbat Shalom to the members of the congregation who I haven't seen as regularly as I used to see you all. It's good to be with you again on a Friday night, even virtually. And I'm pleased that Professor Michael Graves, my partner in this Judaism class, he and I are honored tonight to be bringing our students from Wheaton College here to the synagogue virtually. The students are happy to be part of the Shabbat service. They heard a detailed explanation of our Shabbat services the other day in class, and are pleased to be to sit back and worship with us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much, Rabbi Bob. Our opening song tonight is the song Hine Matov. How wonderful it is when we come together and dwell together as one group, as brothers and sisters coming together in wonderful spirit. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. And we come now to sanctify our Shabbat, and it is my pleasure to invite up to sanctify our wonderful Shabbat candles, Carrie and Leah, all the way from Austin, Texas, who are going to come up and, oh, there we are, come up and read our candle blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu bo mitzvotav v'tzivanu lakikner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Amen. Thank you so much for that wonderful blessing. We continue now with our Baruch Hu, as I invite everyone to please rise in either body or spirit for our Baruch Hu song. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam everyone may be seated as we continue now with our Ma'ariv Aravim, which we will do our blessing, and then a special song that I've actually been waiting to sing, but one of my favorites, because we just switched our times and now we are actually having our Shabbats where it's actually more towards dusk now than it has been in the last few weeks where it's already been, dark for a couple of hours. But we say the Ma'ariv, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, B'chokhma Poteach She'arim, Uvitvuna Meshane Itim, Umachalif Et Hazmanim, Umsader Et HaKochavim, B'mishmerotehem Barakia Kirtsono, Borei Yom V'Laila, Golel Or Mipnei Choshech, V'choshech Mipnei Or, Uma'avir Yom Umevi Laila, Umabdil Bein Yom Ubein Laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. So this tune is from our pal Noam Katz, who actually came a few years ago to our congregation, but one that talks about going from light into dark. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Orei yom v'layla, Olel or mipnei choshech, Olel or mipnei choshech, choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into night, night becomes day, day turns to night. Orei yom v'layla, Olel or mipnei choshech, Olel or mipnei choshech, choshech mipnei or. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We come now to the Shema, perhaps one of the most important prayers of the Jewish faith, the watchword of the Jewish faith, declaring that there is just one God. One perhaps meaning, of course, just a singular one, as in one, not two, but also one as a God that might be 100% a God that might be all whole. And I invite the congregation to please rise in either body or spirit. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Mod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Everyone everyone may be seated as we continue with our Shema prayer and the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeitiechem meretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue now with our Emet Ve'emunah prayer. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, and that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. So our prayer, the Emet Be'emunah, might not be as well known as some of our other prayers, but the middle section of it, of course, is well known because the middle section is our Micha Mocha, this wonderful song about miracles. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. So most of the tunes and the songs that we've done today, that if you went to any weekday service that a congregation might be happening, any weekday evening service, you would hear pretty much everything that has already been said or been sung. However, our next song, the Yismechu, is one that is especially for Shabbat, that talks all about this joy for our holiday of Shabbat. And of course, I think has a nice tune to match that. So I encourage everyone, of course, on mute, but to sing this song with me as we celebrate the joy of our holiday of Shabbat. Yismechu, Yismechu v'malachutecha. Yismechu, Yismechu v'malachutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba, da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba, da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Yismechu, Yismechu v'malachutecha. Yismechu, Yismechu v'malachutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. So I hope you felt some of the joy in our Shabbat as we sung that wonderful song about bringing so much joy and delight for all of us who keep this wonderful holiday. We come now to our Tephila, our Amidah, as I invite the congregation to please rise in either body or spirit as we begin our prayers of praise during this section of the service, the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tivtachu fi agita hilatecha. Adonai sifatai tivtachu fi agita hilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekoneh Ha'akol Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin Baruch Atah Adonai Magin Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibur Le'olam Adonai Mechaye metim ata rab lehoshia, mashiv haruach umorid hagashem. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye metim berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofech oholim, umatir asurim, umekayen emunato, lishenei afar, micha mocha bal givurot, Umido melech, melech memihit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lechayot metim. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim bechol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Everyone may be seated. And I was smiling a little bit during our Givurot prayer, which I'll bring right back up, because during the winter, we chant this part, Mashiv Haruach HaMarid Hagashem, which asks for rain. But you might ask the question, well, when does the winter change into the summer? And that is actually going to be happening traditionally on Sunday morning, the first morning of Passover, when we train back So next week on Shabbat, we will be in our summer portion for that prayer. So coming now to our Kedusha Taiyon, the holiness of the day. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. We continue now with a moment of silent prayer as we then join back together in just a moment with the Oseh Shalom, but we take a moment now of silent prayer. Oseh Shalom bimrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh Shalom bimrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh Shalom bimrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh Shalom bimrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. We come now to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our service for reading the Torah. And although I can't go behind me to get the Torah because this is just a virtual background, of course, today we still rise in either body or spirit as we take our virtual Torah from the Ark and sing our song, Al Shlosha Divarim. Al Shlosha Divarim, Al Shlosha Divarim, Al Shlosha Divarim, Ha'olam Omed. Al Shlosha Divarim, Al Shlosha Divarim, Al Shlosha Divarim, Ha'olam Omed. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. This wonderful song saying that the world is sustained by three things: Torah, worship, and acts of loving kindness and loving deeds. Everyone may be seated. Our Torah portion this week is Tzav. Tzav is a wonderful Torah portion, our second Torah portion in the book of Leviticus, and continues the discussion on sacrifices that were to be made in the Mishkan and then later in the temple. And although, of course, we don't do sacrifices anymore, the idea of coming together as a community and offering something, of course, maybe to God, but offering something that makes it so that we all benefit is still something that we want to take with us today. Something that we can come in for a common cause, take something of ours and actually give it to the community. So even though we don't do sacrifices anymore, there's still thought, there's still effort, and still some maybe even wonderful things that we do when we think about what we can bring to our community to make everyone's life better. It's now my pleasure to invite up our wonderful Aliyah, and I'm going to invite her up to our virtual bima here. Oh, what did I just do? Oh, there we go. To bring up, here, let me just share my spotlight. There we go. Ta'amod Bela bat Avraham va'aita la'aliyah ha'torah. Just bring up. Oh, sorry. There we go.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, Tzav et Aaron ve'et banav lemor, Zot Torah ha'olah, hi ha'olah, mokdin al hamizbeach kol halayla al haboker, ve'et hamizbeach tukad bo, ve'lavash HaKohen midovad umiknesei vad yilbash al besaro v'cherav et hadeshen asher tochal ha'esh et ha'olah al hamizbeach v'shamo etzel hamizbeach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yesher Koach, wonderfully done. Beautiful Aliyah. Thank you so much, Barbara. We come now to the part of our service where we think about those who are ill and in need of healing. We think this evening of Elwood Frederick Bryan, Rick Westerman, Karen Levinson, Laura Alberton, Mark Zellman, Sarah Varad Bat Shoshana, Sarah Warth, Richard Hoffman, Evan Georgie Johnston, Kathleen Minardi, Margie Sufi, Sheila Alterman, Sharon Gutsky, Ronnie Brown, Carol Neymark, Larry Neymark, Kathleen Archambault, Rabbi Ellen Dreyfus, Stefano Michelasi, Denise Blackburn, Jan Bernstein, Larry Levine, Len Schutzman, Steve Tettiner, Rob Dicker, Scott Pensgard, Beverly Klein, Harvey Waller, Dolores Jazkierski, Rabbi Dara Lerner, Valerie Foxman, Harvey Simpson, Laura Mendelson, and all who suffer, whom we know not by name. Misha berach avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech v'yirpet kol Yisrael v'shlach lachem b'mhera, rafua shlema, rafuat hanefesh, rafuat haguf, v'nomar Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all who are stricken, and may the Holy One of Praise mercifully restore them to health and to vigor, and may God grant them health of body, health of spirit, health of mind, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. Bless those in, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. It is now time that we return our virtual Torah to the Ark, as I invite everyone to please rise in either body or spirit as we pretend, of course, to do our Hagbah where we raise the Torah, but we were able actually to see what was being read already, but we rise in either body or spirit as we return the Torah to the Ark. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe Lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Torah, 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 Torah. Torah, 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 Torah. It's Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomcha me'ushar. Chashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesha menu bekedem. We return now our Torah to the Ark, as I invite everyone now to please be seated as we continue now with our prayers for both Israel and the United States. And it is my pleasure to invite up to our virtual beamer, Ken and Marcy Siegel.
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Now our prayer for America.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have and by sharing with those who are in need. Help us to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways we serve you. Bless our country, that it may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. We praise you, O God, source of peace. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for those wonderful prayers, Ken and Marcy. We continue now with a special guest rabbi who's going to tell us a story, one that happens to live in my house with me very well. So I'm going to just have her come right on in.
Hello, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It's good to be here with all of you this evening. So I am your guest storyteller this evening on Shabbat. Tonight, my name is Rabbi Rebecca Camel. I am married to Rabbi Ricky Camel, and it's really wonderful to be here with all of you. So the story that I wanted to tell tonight is from a collection of stories called 3 Times Chai, and different rabbis collected stories that they really loved and put it together in this book. And I found that it's a really beautiful resource. And this particular story is fitting for Pesach, for Passover. And it talks about the story of Yocheved and Miriam, and it's called Women of Courage. So this is the story of Yocheved and her teenage daughter, Miriam. Yocheved had recently given birth to a baby boy when the evil Pharaoh of Egypt decreed that all Jewish boys be put to death. But Yocheved was brave, and like all mothers, she loved her son dearly. She couldn't bear to part with him, so she hid him in a cave. It soon became apparent, however, that this solution was not a solution at all, for the baby boy began to grow and his cries grew louder and louder. People started to become suspicious. Sadly, Yocheved realized that she could no longer get away with hiding her son in a cave or anywhere else for that matter. So she built a teva, a miniature ark, and lovingly placed him in it. Carefully, she placed the teva in the Nile River, all the while giving clear instructions to her daughter. Miriam, I want you to go and watch over your brother because you're a good older sister. Tell me what you see, Yocheved said, choking back tears. Miriam was afraid. Who knew what would happen? But she was an obedient and loving daughter and a loyal sister, so she did as her mother asked. Miriam watched as her baby brother floated down the river. Before long, Miriam saw a girl who noticed the teva and started to move toward it. Miriam was stunned to realize that of all the people in the world who might have discovered her brother, the girl was none other than the daughter of the Pharaoh, the princess of Egypt, whose name was Bitya, which means daughter of God. Bitya, well aware of her father's decree, jumped into the water and said, "This must be a Hebrew child. I'm going to rescue this baby." She took the baby into her arms. "I'm going to adopt this young one." Miriam looked on and couldn't help but think of the pain she'd seen on her mother's face as she placed her son in the teva. That memory gave her the courage to approach the daughter of the Pharaoh. "Your Highness," said Miriam, "is that your baby?" "Yes, it is now," the princess replied. Thinking quickly, Miriam asked, "Don't you have to nurse this baby? Might you need a wet nurse?" The princess realized that yes, in fact, she did. "If you will trust me, I can find you someone," Miriam said. Bitya, the daughter of the Pharaoh, told Miriam to do just that. Some say Bitya acted unwittingly, whereas others believe she knew exactly what she was doing when she handed the baby over to Miriam, who brought her brother back to their mother, Yocheved. It is because of the courage of this exchange among three women of God that Moses was raised in his earliest years by his natural mother. And because of these women, Yocheved was able to instill in her son his Jewish identity, the characteristics that would make him a great leader, and the courage that he would later draw on to rescue the Israelites and lead them across the great waters of the Sea of Reeds. Shabbat Shalom.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rabbi Rebecca Camel, and Shabbat Shalom. It is now my pleasure to invite up our board person, representing our executive board. Oh, here he is. To give us some announcements. Joel Spenadel.
Shabbat Shalom all. I'm Joel Spenadel, and I'm representing the board of directors tonight. I want to thank everyone who's joined us tonight as we come together to welcome Shabbat, especially our friends from Wheaton College and their two very distinguished professors. I also want to thank both Rabbi Camel, I think it's Rabbi's Camel, for leading us in services tonight. I'd like to bring you your attention to a few upcoming programs. I'm going to do it quickly because I hear there's a major holiday tomorrow night and I have not started cooking, so I got to do this quick. Sunday, March 28th, this Sunday at 6 p.m. will be the Congregational Second Seder. It will be held via Zoom, and we hope to be back in person next year. We will have sign language interpreters and captioning for this Seder. The Seder is open to all members and extended family, even if they're not members, so bring them along. The Zoom room will open at 5:30 p.m. On Thursday, April 8th at 7 p.m., join us for a special sisterhood program led by Kathy Herbach as she presents My Quilting Journey. She will share her 30-year journey in quilting and the lessons she's learned along the way. And then lastly, on Sunday, April 11th at 11 a.m., please join us for the Congregational Yom HaShoah Holocaust Remembrance Day service. That'll be led by our rabbis and the 8th grade faculty and students. Just as a reminder, all the Zoom links for these programs will be emailed out just a few days before the programs take place. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach all.
Well, Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach to you as well, Joel. I echo, of course, Joel, thanks for everyone for joining us for tonight. And actually, two things that I wanted to mention but did not, but I still, of course, want to, is that one, the Torah that I virtually read from today was taken from our Wheaton Torah, the wonderful Torah that we have that was given to us from Wheaton College to show such a wonderful connection between our two institutions. So thank you so much, of course, for us being able to read that from our Torah tonight. And second, that tonight's Shabbat is actually a very special Shabbat called Shabbat Hagadol, or the Great Shabbat, which is the Shabbat that happens right before Passover, which is, of course, the Shabbat today, where Passover is beginning on tomorrow night. So I invite everyone now to please rise again in either body or spirit as we come to our prayer, the Aleinu. And yes, invite everyone again to please rise in either body or spirit. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula leotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo echad. Everyone may be seated. So our thoughts now turn to those who are no longer with us. And tonight we remember and honor the Yortzites of Martin Feist, father of Ellen Mandel, Renee Hanan Melul, sister of Nelson Hanan, Donna Mata, special friend of Eitz Chaim, Julia House, sister of Janet Gannett, Ruth Mindell, mother of Norbert Mindell, Hubert Bechtolsheim, father of Stephen Bechtolsheim, Cindy Gordon, grandfather of Judith Lerner, Marilyn Hack, mother of Deborah Prinz, Robert Leffert, father of Kim Leffert, Ronald Richmond, father of Robin Lukansky, Carol Ulrich, father of Werner Ulrich, Bernice Engelson, grandmother of Lise DeMare, Leona Spar, mother of Tina Singer, Gertrude Wexler, grandmother of Linda Longman, Barry Haber, brother-in-law of Joyce Haber, Paul Wayne Johnson, father of Lisa Honig, David Karshen, father of Roberta Berman, Sam Mirsky, grandfather of Linda Mirsky, Neil Summers, son of Philip Summers, Dariush Tavana, brother of Seema Tavana, Frederick Bender, father of Howard Bender, Norman Frankfeder, father of Alan Frankfeder, Nahum Schechtman, grandfather of Susanna Sawyer, Barry Ehrlich, father of Denise Niederman, Abner Gannett, husband of Janet Gannett, father of Marcy Siegel, father-in-law of Ken Siegel and grandfather of Rachel Kaiser and Chaviva Siegel. Bessie Glass, grandmother of Michael Glass. Jerome Landsman, father of Lisa Chin. David McQuarrie, husband of Erica McQuarrie and father of Haley and Parker. Saul Newsenbaum, uncle of Marilyn Wigder. Bernice Schoenfield, mother of Rick Schoenfield. And Matthew Siegel, father of Ken Siegel and father-in-law of Marcy Siegel and grandfather to Rachel and Haviva. We also mourn the recent passing of Sophie Pollack, wife of Jack Pollack and mother of Donna Hirschkoff, and Gail Kalish, aunt of Michael Field. We come now together as a community, as we rise as one community in either body or spirit for our mourners Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'omad divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Leolam Omei Amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kedusha B'rechu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'oma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May all their memories be for a blessing, and may God send comfort to all who are bereaved. We come now to our closing song for our Shabbat, a song called "And the Youth Shall See Visions" by Debbie Friedman. Childhood was for fantasies, for nursery rhymes and toys. The world is much too busy to understand small girls and boys. As I grew up, I came to learn that life was not a game, that heroes were just people that we called another name. And the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hope shall rise up in the sky. We must live for today, we must build for tomorrow. Give us time, give us strength, give us life. Now I've grown and the years have passed, and I've come to understand there are choices to be made, and my life's at my command. I cannot have a future until I embrace my past. I promise to pursue the challenge, but time is going fast. And the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hope shall rise up to the sky. We must live for today, we must build for tomorrow. Give us time, give us strength, give us life. Give us time, give us strength, give us life. Give us life. Let us go out to this Shabbat to joy, to rest, and to peace. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Camel.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Langston.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, guys.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
And Chag Pesach Sameach.
Severe.
Good. Shabbat Shalom, Seagulls. Thank you so much for doing your parts.
Enjoy your Seder and your mother.
Oh, will do, will do. Thank you. I hope I'm sorry if it is Gannett, right? Okay.
You said it just right.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Sorry.
You said, don't be sorry, you did it just right.
Okay, good. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, double your sites and for
I do forget that you didn't know him.
But yeah, did the music sound okay tonight? I wasn't sure how loud the piano was.
It went in and out. Sometimes it was a little loud with the piano, I think, and sometimes it was okay. It was lovely.
Okay, well, good. Well, thank you.
It was lovely. It was lovely. And did you ever get my note back about the Seder?
Oh, I did. Yes, I'm cutting a lot. Yes, because you were very right. That it was too long.